In a dusty fringe of the city lived a humble tailor, his hands worn from stitching, and his son Aladdin, a restless teen who spent his days wandering the streets. When the tailor fell ill and passed away, the house fell silent, and his wife wept over the loss, her grief echoing across the barren wind. Even as his mother mourned, Aladdin refused to pick up a needle, preferring the fleeting games of the street to any honest labor. One scorching afternoon, a cloaked stranger stepped out of the swirling dust and called Aladdin by name, his eyes glinting like distant thunder. The stranger asked, "How many summers have you seen, and whose blood runs through your veins?" Aladdin answered, "I am the son of Mustafa, the tailor, though he has been gone a long time now." In the cracked streets, the stranger steps forward, his robes flashing like a flash of lightning. He claims to be Aladdin's long-lost uncle, a magician who vanished years ago. The boy's eyes widen as the tale unfolds. The magician leans in and plants a quick kiss on Aladdin's forehead, sealing the claim of kinship. He whispers that blood ties bind them, and that he has come to set the boy on a new path. Breathless, Aladdin darts back to his home, eager to share the astonishing news. He bursts through the doorway, where his mother waits, her eyes filled with worry and curiosity. As Aladdin recounts the stranger's words, his mother's memory stirs. She recalls her late brother, the missing uncle, and a flicker of hope lights her tired heart. She quickly prepares a modest supper, her hands moving with practiced care. Before the meal, she sends Aladdin out to meet the promised uncle, trusting that destiny may finally favor them. A thunderclap heralds the arrival of the so-called uncle, bearing wine and fruit as gifts. The mother greets him with cautious hospitality, while Aladdin watches, half hopeful, half suspicious. The stranger bows dramatically, claiming he's been roaming distant lands for 4 decades. He spins a tale of distant deserts and foreign courts, trying to convince Aladdin and his mother that he's truly a long-lost uncle. With a curious glint, the uncle asks Aladdin what trade he practices, expecting a skilled hand. The boy shifts uncomfortably, unsure how to answer. Aladdin lowers his gaze, the weight of his idle days pressing down like the gathering clouds. Shame flickers across his face as he admits he has no skill to offer. Hearing his son's confession, the mother lets out a quiet sob, the sound lost to the howling wind outside. Her grief mixes with a faint hope sparked by the stranger's presence. Seeing an opening, the uncle proposes to set Aladdin up with a shop, promising stock and a fresh start. The boy's eyes widen at the unexpected offer. At dawn, the magician presents Aladdin with a set of elegant clothes, dressing him in fabrics richer than any he's known. The transformation feels like a first step toward a destiny far beyond the wasteland. The magician whisks Aladdin through the heart of the city, showing off crowded bazaars, towering minarets, and glittering lanterns. Dressed in his new fine clothes, Aladdin can't believe the world he's been missing. When they finally return home, Aladdin's mother lights a lamp and rushes to hug her son, amazed by his transformation. The night air hums with the promise of a brighter future. At dawn, the magician leads Aladdin past the city walls, beyond the familiar streets, and into the open wasteland. The gate creaks shut behind them, and the endless horizon stretches under the stormy sky. They find a weather-worn fountain half buried in sand, and share a modest cake the magician pulls from his satchel. The brief respite feels like a sanctuary amid the howling wind. Pressing onward, they trek toward a pair of looming mountains that pierce the dark clouds. Each step kicks up dust, and Aladdin's feet ache, but the magician keeps talking, urging him forward. Exhausted, Aladdin finally stops and begs the magician to turn back, pleading for the safety of home. The sorcerer's eyes flash, but he merely smiles and says the real adventure has only just begun. The old sorcerer kept Aladdin's mind busy with wild tales of distant lands, while the road kept stretching ahead. Every story seemed designed to make the boy forget how tired his feet were. At last the path opened onto a narrow gorge, 2 craggy mountains rising like stone walls on either side. The magician halted, pointing to the ground and saying, "We rest here. I have something to show you." Aladdin knelt, gathering dry twigs and branches, his hands moving quickly as the wind howled. The sorcerer struck a flint, sparking a small flame, then tossed a handful of glittering powder into the blaze, and the fire flared with an eerie blue light. The ground shivered beneath them, the soil split, uncovering a massive stone slab with a brass ring set in its center, as if inviting a hand to lift it. Aladdin bolts toward the open desert, heart pounding, but the magician catches him with a swift blow that sends him sprawling. The sand erupts around them as thunder rumbles, sealing the boy's brief hope of escape. The magician's voice cracks like thunder as he orders Aladdin to obey, his eyes flashing with a dangerous promise. The boy, bruised and breathless, can feel no choice but to listen. Summoning the names of his father and grandfather, Aladdin clutches the ring and feels the stone tremble. With a groan, the slab lifts, revealing a yawning stairwell beneath. As the slab slides aside, a staircase of cold stone appears, disappearing into an abyss. The wind howls louder, as if warning of the unknown below. The magician's warning cuts through the storm. Touch nothing inside, or death will claim you. Aladdin swallows hard, the weight of the promise pressing on his shoulders. Stepping into the darkness, Aladdin finds himself in a cavern of 3 immense halls, their arches echoing with ancient whispers. The magician lingers at the threshold, his silhouette barely visible against the flickering glow. At last the two emerge into a hidden orchard, rows of heavy-laden trees spilling sweet scent into the cool air. The glow of the fruit contrasts sharply with the storm raging outside, but the magician's eyes stay fixed on the next step of his plan. In the heart of the garden, a carved niche cradles a lamp that burns like a captive star. The magician whispers that the lamp's oil is the key to their fortune, urging Aladdin to seize it. The magician commands Aladdin to pour the lamp's oil into a basin, insisting the lamp must be brought to him immediately. He promises untold riches if the boy obeys without question. Aladdin gathers the sweetest fruit he can find, then lifts the lamp, its light dancing on his face. He turns back toward the magician, the weight of the treasure heavy in his hands. With a sudden, fierce gesture, the magician shouts for the lamp, his voice echoing off the stone walls. Aladdin feels the pressure of the magician's greed pressing against his resolve. Aladdin stops at the mouth of the cave, shaking his head. He tells the magician he will not hand over the lamp until they're both outside, where the storm can't hide any more lies. The magician's rage ignites as Aladdin clutches the lamp. He hurls another burst of shimmering powder into the air, the sparks crackling like angry fireflies. The powder erupts, shaking the earth, and the huge slab shudders back into place. With a deafening clang, the passage closes, trapping Aladdin inside. Realizing his deception is exposed, the so-called uncle flees, his robes snapping in the gale. Aladdin watches, lamp glowing, as the false magician vanishes into the raging storm. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Take Break, turn on notifications, and share it with a friend who loves a good story.